Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing how to make a rectangular tray with patterns in the slicer. So this is our rectangular tray that we're going to make. And you can see here that this is a separate section. So this is pretty similar to the circular tray. We're just going to do it with a rectangular tray instead. So let's go ahead and open up that original rectangular tray we did a couple of videos ago. And we're just going to derive this again. So make sure that you're on the original one, not the one with the patterns that we did last time. We're going to click create and then derive again, and then make sure that body is selected, click OK. And now we're going to save this as rectangular catch all tray with patterns in slicer. Okay, and so really this is pretty easy. All you have to do is create sketch, do an offset again, and you can kind of do it however far you want, but something like -4 I think probably will work good. And then we're just going to split this in half. So modify, actually finish the sketch, and now we're going to split, select that, and then our splitting tool is going to be that thing we just made. Click OK, and then now you can see we have two bodies there. So we have that body and that body. And so we can go ahead and name that. This is going to be inside body, and then we can call it like the rim body. And then we're just going to export it to slicer. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Export, actually 3D print it, file 3D print, select that one, click OK, file 3D print, select this one, click OK. All right, then we go over to the slicer. All right, so now that we're in the slicer, you can see here, this is pretty much the same steps we went through with the other design, but just for those of you who haven't watched, if you select that body, you can right click, and then you change the layers and perimeters. And then you also want to select the infill as well. So just go ahead and select both of those, and those come up over here in this little menu. And it might be different for different slicers, but for Prusa Slicer, which is free and you can download and use with other printers other than Prusa, this is where it comes up. And a lot of slicers are kind of formatted a similar way. So the first thing we need to do to make this work is, if it goes away, it's up here. So it's either down at the bottom or here. So the first thing is just to turn the bottom layers and top layers to 0 for this part. And we can go ahead and slice that and see what it looks like. So now we have a nice looking kind of pattern there in the center, but this is a little sparse as far as how much infill there is. So let's change it to like 40%. I usually find is pretty good. And then we're going to reslice that. So slice again. And so there's another pretty nice looking pattern. And then the other thing you can do is you can also usually turn the perimeters here to 0. So the perimeters are these lines here. Since this is connected to print anyway, usually it's fine to turn that off. So the perimeters, I'm going to make that 0. And then we can see that update here when we reslice it. So you notice that there's only the perimeters for this body instead of for this body as well. And then you can also change the type of filled pattern. So I kind of like the honeycomb. So we're going to go ahead and slice it like that. And you can see that that's a pretty interesting pattern. Some other ones that are pretty cool are the gyroid pattern, so we can slice that, and you see that that's pretty dense, so maybe turn this one down to like 30% or so. But you can do a lot of different stuff with this. It's a really easy way to get a pretty nice looking pattern, and usually, since the printers print this all the time just inside of the parts, it usually comes out pretty good. The only thing you might have a little bit of issue with sometimes is the bottom surface here, and just depends on how well calibrated your printer is and how good your bottom surface is. So I'd make sure your print bed is nice and clean, or you have glue or whatever you need to keep that adhesed, but otherwise this usually prints pretty well. So that's all I have for this one. There's some other tips and tricks you can do with the slicer to make your print quality a little bit better, but this is something pretty easy, and you can do a lot of different things with this. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.